Okay, what's up everyone? Welcome back to Kayakers Kitchen, cooking made easy. This week we're talking about another vegetable that I was always really scared of trying to deal with or trying to use. I've been in restaurants before, but I would see it in the grocery store, in the supermarket, and be like, I don't know how to deal with that. I don't know how to eat this. You don't eat it like an apple. I don't know what to do with it. And for the longest time I was like, gonna leave that on the shelf. I don't know what to do. I'm scared. And when I was in Ecuador the first time in 2015, I was staying with the guys over at Endless Adventures International, and Andrea, co-owner, head chef, head honcho, boss, jefe, big dog, big cheese, big gorgonzola, brought out this salad one day. It was super red, and I was like, what do we have here? And it was like a beet salad, and I was like, I don't know if I like beets or not, but whatever, just pretty hungry, so we'll give it a try, and it was delicious. And I was like, oh, Andrea, how do I make this at home when I depart this trip? And she was like, oh, it's a pretty complicated recipe. And I was like, oh, I don't know. And then she was like, oh, no, it's not really, I'm just kidding you. It's just beets, carrots, and mint, and that's it. And I was like, what? So we're gonna go over here. We're gonna go, we're gonna do the overhead thing again this week. So overhead, I'm gonna show you how to make it. Beet carrot salad, super delicious. Yeah, let's go. So we're gonna need a bunch of beets for this recipe, a big carrot and some mint. Let's just get that shit out of the way for a second. Find yourself a chopping board. There's gonna be a couple other tools you're gonna need to look for: a peeler, a bowl to put all your scraps in. Put those to one side so your thing looks nice and neat. I'm gonna use this little gizmo gadget called a crank chop, which you pull, it gives you a mechanical advantage. It's got these blades that spin. They cost about 20 bucks in Walmart. It's totally worth it. You could get by without it by just using a knife. First thing we're going to do is peel our beets. I'm not going to tell you how to use a peeler because you probably don't have to do that when you're a child, but peel your beets, put it into the scraps bowl, cut the top off it with a knife, and then cut your beet into little pieces. Put the little pieces into the crank chop. The crank chop's not really strong enough to do the whole beet without cutting it into pieces, so you gotta just find roughly the right size where you can do the least amount of work but still have the crank chop turn. You're gonna repeat this process with all the beets basically, so I'm not gonna make you sit here and watch me do all those beets, but just hammer through it, repeat the process until you have pretty much done them. Put your scraps bowl out of the way, put the lid on the crank chop Swiss Pros thing, pull in the handle, just pulls that cord and it turns the blades. You can see it's kind of starting to mix around. I wonder if I can show you kind of a side on. Oh, I wish the camera wasn't in this position right now. I'd be able to show you way better. Oh, I can't do it with one hand. Anyway, you just take my word for it. Pulling the rope is turning the blades. So it's turning them much more than you could chop them. So after a bunch of turns, you get nice finely chopped beets, which is pretty ideal. You don't want to chew too much, so get those nice and chopped up, throw them into a mixing bowl of some description. There's a bunch of beets left in the plastic bowl there, so try and get all those out. Don't use a peeler, it's garbage. Use the knife, that's gonna get way more of the beets out, because you don't want to waste it, right? That's just stupid. Anyway, get the blade out of the way, and now we're gonna do basically the same process with some of our other vegetables. So next up, we're gonna grab the carrot, get the ends off it, cut it into pieces, and pop it into the crank chop thing to cut it into little bits or whatever. Now remember with the beets, I said that if you didn't have them the right size, the blades wouldn't turn. Well, I'm an idiot and I couldn't make the blades turn because I didn't cut my carrot small enough. So then take all the carrots out, cut them into smaller bits, and then put them back in there. If you don't want to be an idiot, just cut them the right size the first time. Then you don't have to go through this stupid trial and error step of cutting your carrots up the wrong size. Anyway, so now once you've got your carrots kind of similar size to your beets, throw them in the mixing bowl as well. Salad's starting to get quite messy. Ugh. All right, next up, get yourself a handful of mint. If you're fussy, just take the leaves off of the little stems, get rid of the stems. I'm not super fussy, so I'm just gonna kind of break them up in my hands, throw them in the crank chop, blitz them through the crank chop a bunch of times. Oop, looks like that one slipped by. Anyway, now I've got some nice finely chopped mint. I'm gonna throw that on top there, use the knife, get all that mint out there. Pretty much just get everything out there. You want all that stuff in the bowl really. And then you want to give it a good mix together. I'm gonna cut up half a lime just in case. I'm gonna use a little lime juice, I think, in a minute. Just to kind of pull all those flavors together, but you don't have to. We're gonna put it to one side and mix it up and just give it a taste and see what you think it tastes like first, if you think it needs it, if you think it doesn't. You can always put a bit to one side and put some lime on it to test it out if you think it does, but I'm gonna hammer this half a lime on here. Don't drop it, idiot. And then give it a good mix around. You want to get kind of all the lime and the mint mixed around. Oh yeah. Anyway, so that's how you make a beet salad. It's pretty delicious. Your hands are going to get pretty red. This is really great for practical jokes, but that's about the limit of it. That red will wash out in like an hour or two. Okay, so there you go. Pretty easy to make beet and carrot salad. Pretty simple to deal with. Super messy on the hands, like it's gonna be all up everywhere. And it might make your poop turn red the next day. Don't freak out. Like, it's probably just because you had beets, but if your poop's red every day, you should probably go see a doctor. Yeah, so there you go. Don't be scared of beets. They're delicious and they're actually not that hard to deal with at all. So, beets, easy peasy. I will see you next week. Peace.